on an extreme, if you touch the dirt,
you're in a fire suit.
Are in a fire suit.
Yep.
If you guys, I know you guys were out back, but Jeremy was watching the whole process that we took to get Crystal out of the car.
Well, Warren and I actually went trackside and spoke with Josh Harris just real quick. Is she okay?
And we got out of there.
She's talking. We saw her in there. She was talking, and we left you guys to do your thing. I just wanted to make sure there's that peace of mind you get. I mean,
well, for us and everybody in the stands, because everybody was wanting to know, and we gave them some positive.
And we weren't going to bother you guys on the radio.
Not at all.
And that was the first time. When you looked down and we threw the red flag immediately, we knew it was that type of situation. I looked down and throw the red flag, and I almost get a sigh of relief because the first thing I do when I look down, I see movement. So at that point, that's a sigh of relief for all of us, including Extreme, to go over there to see movement.
And I always give Extreme kudos. I give you guys kudos all night long. And thank God nobody – I don't know if she wanted to get out of the car or if that was even a consideration, but I know Extreme did not let her get out of the car. And kudos,
which was the best thing. That was
there.
the best thing. Absolutely.
Yeah. And because everybody wants to say the race car. Oh, don't cut the bars, you know.
And here's the thing too is that my experience as a crew chief, and one of the things that when I was crew chiefing for Draeger, it was always we talked about it. If someone says the car is totaled or the car is junk, I don't care if you don't feel any pain. If they're saying don't get out, the car's totaled. Let them cut you out.
Right.
Because in this situation, we look at what happened here. It's a Hornet. She was in a head and neck restraint device, 5-point belts, racing seat.
All the right stuff.
But still, look at the injuries she suffered.
You guys don't have the luxury of knowing the injuries right off the bat. She didn't even know the injuries when she went to the Lebanon hospital.
A person in shock is not aware of their injuries.
I have been on a scene doing other things where it was a football player that went and tackled somebody, got up, took 3 steps, and then collapsed because he had a broken neck.
Well, you hear stuff like that all the time, and
fortunately,
this was handled in the proper
In this
manner.
case, had she not had that, I think it would have been worse than just a broken neck.
I'm just so thankful
we can all
she's
agree
okay.
to that. Something else I wanted to talk about. There's things that happen in situations like that, like I said, there's good things and there's bad things. I'm pretty proud of myself because stuff like this.
You're always proud of yourself.
No. This is a situation where I'm not too quick to anger. I used to be pretty hot-headed. I've calmed down a lot. I had someone approach me after the races, and I'm telling you guys right now, it was everything I could do not to punch this gentleman in the mouth.
What happened?
And I use the word gentleman lightly.
Right.
As Sandy and I, we were up in the Moxie Tower. We've got everything cleaned up. We've got all of our paperwork put away. We're walking out, and I don't know if this person's listening. I hope they are, because he comes up to me with an attitude, number one, and tells me, what in the hell does Extreme Fire and Rescue think they're doing, not bringing her mom and sister on the track immediately?
What?
I looked at him. I said, excuse me? And he says, they should have had her mom and her sister on that track right now so to comfort her. I said, they're in the middle of a situation of a wreck, assessing damage assessing damage to the driver.
Keeping the patient calm.
Yeah, keeping her calm, assessing, making sure she's okay. The last thing they need is family members down there freaking out and yelling, jumping in the middle of that.
Right.
I said, Extreme did exactly what they were supposed to do, and there's no other way to do it. I just thought, that you guys don't understand how. I looked at Sandy, and Sandy looked at me, and we were walking out. I'm telling you, it made me mad. It made me mad.
Rightfully so.
And talk about a situation like that, because we all see it. We've all had red flags. Even in the karting things, we have red flags, and we have parents come running on the track in a hurry. In this case, that did not happen. Andy and Corinne, the parents of Crystal, they stopped at the back and made sure to ask if they were okay to come on the track. And they waited until they got the okay to come on the track. And that is the best thing to do. I know you want to see the person that's hurt
100%.
on the track, but the 100% the best thing to do is wait until you get the okay from
safety-wise.
staff.
Yes.
Exactly. And that's the thing, too, is we still even though we are under red, typically we will take the cars and stage them in the backstretch or in the front stretch, depending on where the incident is. This weekend we staged them in the backstretch. We still could have race cars moving on the racetrack as directed by race staff.
There's all kinds of safety
and then
involved.
You start talking about, like I was talking about the fire issue earlier.
Right.
When we were cutting her out or, extracting, Crystal from the car, we had a line charged. We were in fire suits. We were ready to go in case there was something that happened.
When he says they have the line charge, he's talking about fire extinguisher. Yeah,
not the fire extinguisher. We had
the foam, the hose.
We had the hose. We had the engine ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's all those precautions we take to make it as safe as we can.
And those guys are all in fire gear out there.
Our official photographer, Doc from Doc's Photos, jumps in and
Who?
says, "Doc," he says, "armchair quarterbacks are dangerous," and it's absolutely right. I mean, that obviously that person hadn't had enough experience or seen that situation where, the last thing you
gotta
need
have
is
Corey.
emotion in a situation like that when these guys are trying to do their job and make sure the driver in that car is okay. First and foremost, that's what needs to be taking place.
Corey, and it goes right back to the comments on the post. You got to have them. There's going to be those types of people everywhere you go.
But man, I'll tell you what, that just rubbed me the wrong way.
Well, they just don't understand, and it's probably the kind of person you can't tell. You can't explain that to. They don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
But fortunately, we have people that do get it, and they're out there on the track trying to possibly save somebody's life. So
that's exactly it. First and foremost. So again, that offer from Doug Pirtle.
That's a 5
offer. Head restraints.
He's going to go ahead and order 5.
He's going to put up the first $59. Is that right?
Yeah, first $59, which is incredible.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll get that copied and we'll put that up on Moxie.
Yes, we will.
For those people that are listening, if you haven't contacted Doug Pirtle,
it's already hit Facebook, guys.
Okay, good. Let's get that on Moxie too. But if you haven't got a hold of, did you already get it on Moxie? Are you doing your job? Okay.
No, I'm not. I'm sitting here talking about racing.
Well, you're the tech guy over there. Let's get that thing put up, Mr.
Tech.
Yeah.
Hey, there's our tech guy.
There's our tech guy.
No, not happening.
Yes.
Let's. We got 5 minutes here. I don't know.
Tech.
You want to talk about that?
What, tech?
Yeah.
Well, I think clearly this incident clearly displays a need for it. There's nothing wrong. Whether it's one guy or a crew of 5, it doesn't matter.
All right.
As long as you're getting those cars checked to make sure, number one, they're safe.
Yep.
That's the biggest thing. We've seen some cars on the racetrack that...
Well, like you talked about last week, somebody used a swing set.
Yes.
For a roll bar. Yeah.
And
a roll cage, whatever.
When Claire found that out...
Yeah. Oh, I bet he was livid. I would be.
Yeah.
So, we got Jeremy here. Jeremy, is there any talk of... And I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but what's your opinion on this no tech?
There was talk on the winter, and I'm sure it's something that is in the process. There was talk during the winter, and that's the one thing I'll give kudos to. There has been talk about getting more staff, getting more people in those positions.
Right on.
And I believe it will happen. It will happen sooner rather than later.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. We need to have it sooner, okay? And this isn't me talking down anybody. We need to have it sooner because clearly there's a need for it in the game that we play. You've got to get people that are qualified for those positions that want to do it.
And that have kahunas like our flagger here.
Right.
They're not afraid to say, no, you can't race it like
exactly.
that.
That's what I'm saying. When you got to have somebody, number one, knows what they're doing, knows race cars, that's not afraid to walk up tech.
Knows knowledgeable. I mean, needs to know 4-cylinders and street stocks just as much as late models and supers and sportsmen, as well as a 30,000-page IMCA book for their set of rules.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That is I think a top priority, or it should be.
It should be
for everybody involved, for those drivers and for those the crew members even.
Yep.
For the fans in the stands. I mean, thank goodness. Let's just say thank goodness in this situation with Crystal that there wasn't a fire.
Absolutely.
Because that to me is the worst element in a racing wreck is fire.
Because that produces extreme to have to rush a situation that they don't want to have to rush.
And in a situation like this, that you can't rush that. I mean, given the injury she sustained, these guys were able to do their job.
It would have been a completely different ball game had we had a fire.
Well, and something like that can make injuries worse, given what you guys have to do in a short amount of time.
And I will say, and I've also heard from Lebanon Fire Department that said they had incredible kudos to Extreme when they showed up. I mean, I mean, there is new people at Lebanon Fire Department this year, new different lieutenants, stuff people that haven't had to have the situation of working at the racetrack, and to have them come and work with Extreme is always a great thing. And even on the bad situations, it's great for them to learn more and more about Extreme and their capabilities.
It helps them, yeah.
Fortunately, we've had good outcomes.
Right, Joel. When that situation like that happens, you guys are resident safety crew there at Willamette Speedway. You guys are the official crew. Now, let's say Lebanon Fire Department shows up. Does that immediately become now it's their scene and you guys kind of have to back off, or how does that situation work between you and or between Extreme and the fire departments at any racetrack?
At that point, what happens is we are in Lebanon Fire District. Until Lebanon Fire is on scene, it is Extreme's call. As soon as Lebanon Fire arrives, it is Lebanon Fire's call.
So do you guys have to totally back out?
They call the shots. We can't do anything unless they give us permission.
Okay, so if they ask you for help, then or whatever, but until once they arrive, then you guys are.
Once Lebanon Fire arrived Saturday night, it was Lebanon Fire's call, and at that point, they were the decision makers, not Extreme Fire and Rescue.
Did you have a chance to talk with them? Did you get any feedback or anything from them?
I was not in contact with Lebanon Fire. Other members of Extreme were, and command staff from Extreme Fire and Rescue were in contact with Lebanon Fire. Like Jeremy said, it sounds like it was a very positive conversation. It's going to make Lebanon Speedway safer, as well as making interfacing with Lebanon Fire a lot better to benefit the Speedway and the racers.
Good. We're getting really late into the show.
Warren just had a message also to say out. I know it kind of went away there. I did read it. As well.
Was it James Baker?
It was James Baker stepping up to the plate again.
Man,
he's pitching in $25. So now on the 5 restraints. So whoever wants them and gets there first, I imagine. There's 5 of them for $275. James Baker putting up another $25 apiece on them.
You guys, so that's down to $275 apiece now.
You better get on that, and we'll try to find that. It was sent to Moxie, and we'll try to get that posted as well on that thread. And, let's go ahead and kind of get that on the same thread.
We'll get our tech guy on that.
Yeah. Awesome. Great show tonight, guys. Jeremy, thanks for being in the Jetstream studio. Always great to get your feedback in a situation like this, because a lot of people have criticized Jeremy's job, and like I said, I'm
that
guilty.
Comes with the job.
I'm guilty of that myself.
And he knows that, and he's like,
yeah, I've done it long enough. I've learned that.
Yeah, well, he's got pretty thick skin, but he
does. You got
to. Again, great show tonight, guys. I think we learned a lot from this incident. We learned a lot just communicating with each other tonight about what's what in the situations, and I'm sure people out there listening have learned from us. I hope they learned from us. And
I can't believe time's up already.
Yeah, I know. But you guys, listen, there is no room, there is no reason to skimp on safety equipment. We learned that this week. Get out there, get a head and neck restraint. Get a neck collar if you have to get a neck collar.
Brace,
anything,
collar,
gloves, fire suit. I mean, all that stuff adds up. It's your life.
We're little things better, and it's people like it's people like Doug Pirtle and James Baker right here that help even more.
That is awesome. Yeah.
Little incentive.
Make sure your helmet's up to date, your gloves, your fire suit, your safety belts. Make sure your belts are up to date and they're not old and stretched, and your seat.
We don't want to have a bad fire to make people realize they don't need to be out there in T-shirts.
I mean, I had another driver that's relatively close to me, and I know just this week alone they bought new belts, new steering wheel, and new full containment seat this week.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yep. Awesome.
Yep.
That's great to see.
Well, it's too bad it takes this to make people open their eyes, but as long as they open their eyes, I guess it's all good.
Well, here's a message to Jeremy from actually Angela Muse. Says, Jeremy does a fantastic job, so kudos to you, buddy. And again, thanks for stopping into the Jetstream studio and being a part of the show tonight. I know it was a long drive. We appreciate you and everything you do. And we're going to be right back in the studio Wednesday night, a week from tonight, on Northwest Dirt News. For Joel, Widescreen Memora, and Warren Simpson, I'm Corey Penfold. We're going to get out and we're going to talk to you next week.
Northwest Dirt News is a production of Moxie Media Promotions, brought to you by our title sponsors, Crocker's Cars and Northwest Trucking Academy, in association with Jetstream Aqua Massage, Stumbling J Livestock, Swears Trucking, Tommy's Transmission, Rugged Radios, and you, the race fans. Don't forget, you can reach us 24/7 at nwdirtnews@yahoo.com.